Hi, I'm Aashna,
And I'm Unaysah.
and this is Youth for Neurodiversity's first episode of our podcast, YND Speaks. Stories,
Perspectives,
education,
advocacy,
kinship.
and self-empowerment.
I'm Aashna, the founder of Youth for Neurodiversity.
And I'm Unaysah, the chapter president for San Jose. So I'm here with Aashna today to learn more about her journey and Youth for Neurodiversity. So my first question is, can you tell me what inspired you to start Youth for Neurodiversity?
Yeah, so great question. YND, my journey with neurodiversity has started from ever since I could remember. My brother is undiagnosed autistic, and my mom is now diagnosed 2E ADHD. They battled a lot of cultural stigma. My brother was homeschooled throughout his entire high school journey, and that just opened my eyes to the world of neurodiversity. And it wasn't until this year where I realized that I'm undiagnosed 2E ADHD as well. The catalyst for starting Youth for Neurodiversity was a hand accident around a year ago where an axe hit my elbow and severed my nerve. Yeah, it left me with lasting deficits in my right hand, which is my dominant hand, and caused me to relearn how to write. I was homeschooled for a year, and more than all of that, it just taught me what life looks like in a world that's not built for you. That's my journey for Youth for Neurodiversity.
Oh, that's really inspiring. So I think my next question is, you were talking about your experiences, right? But what's something you think is misunderstood or something that you wish people understood about neurodiversity or neurodivergent people?
Yeah, so great question. So a huge part of what we champion is the strengths-based model. And the strengths-based model acknowledges the strengths that come with neurodiversity rather than the quote-unquote disability that is correlated with neurodiversity in the medical model. So, I'll just give an example from personal experience. My mom, who is now diagnosed 2E ADHD after starting Youth for Neurodiversity, sometimes she would struggle with certain planning, some executive functioning, would be a difficulty for her, and she had to find ways to understand how she worked. But once she harnessed that and she really learned how to focus in on what she wanted to, she can get things done insanely well and insanely fast. And that's a strength of ADHD that isn't highlighted as much. And there's a whole other can of worms about how ADHD presents differently in girls. I honestly want to bring her and some other parents onto the podcast because I know that they have a lot of differences in how they face neurodiversity growing up, but that's a side tangent. So yeah, a misconception that I think should be addressed is looking at neurodiversity more from a strengths-based lens rather than a deficits-based lens.
So what I got from that is we really need to be looking at the strengths. I know a lot of friends who are neurodiverse, and one of them comes to mind. My classmate, he is a really good writer and he's also autistic, and he's genuinely one of the best writers I know. Like, whenever you read his writing, you can definitely, you can feel what he's feeling. And yeah, I feel like we really need to be talking a lot more about these strengths. So I know you're talking about the strengths-based model, but can you tell me a little bit else about what Youth for Neurodiversity does?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, I love that anecdote. In regards to your question about some of Youth for Neurodiversity's current projects, so we have a couple of different things going on right now. We've exhibited at many conferences our neurodiversity education app called Allied Training. It's a neurodiversity education app for K through 12, and what we noticed was really important is connecting neurodiverse and neurodivergent individuals, and a huge part of inclusion and connection is education and making sure that people know what they're talking about, because going back to the strengths-based model, it's hard to just say that to someone in a world that is so deficits-based. And we want people to understand and empathize with people who are neurodiverse and ultimately create and foster great connections. So, for example, the app contains different modules on ADHD, executive function. It goes anywhere from different neurotypes to different aspects of neurodiversity. And yeah, through that, ultimately, we just want neurotypical individuals to understand neurodiversity and be educated about the subject so that they can properly collaborate and make true connections with their neurodiverse peers. Secondly, we also have a Neuroscience of Empathy curriculum. What I noticed about a lot of the ambassadors who joined are they were so interested in neuroscience and research, and they wanted to bring their expertise into the neurodiversity realm. And I really thought that there was untapped potential there. So we all came together and we created a Neuroscience of Empathy curriculum that we can use in high school. And through the curriculum, what it does is it teaches neuroscience, but from an empathy-based approach. And also it's really important to us that Allied Training and the Neuroscience of Empathy curriculum, those are all co-designed with neurodivergent youth and expert feedback on the curriculum as well, because we want to make sure that we're giving proper educational material, but on top of that, nothing about us without us is a huge aspect of what we do, and we want to make sure we're not designing something for people, we want to design it with people. And then one of our third initiatives that we're really proud of is YND Expressions. It has just launched on Medium, and what it is, we're accepting submissions right now. What it is a platform that all neurodivergent family, friends, and even typical youth can host on the Expressions to talk about all their creative endeavors, be it writing, comics, art, podcasts, literally anything they can put on there, make their voice be heard, because we want to amplify voices, just like through the podcast. Unaysah, I don't know if you want to talk about your experience on the podcast so far, but...
I think the podcast is just a really cool way that YND is spreading more information and broadening its reach.
Yeah, not to put you on the spot, I just wanted to just show that a lot of this is about amplifying with youth and making sure that people who haven't been empowered are empowered through Youth for Neurodiversity. We have 15 chapters in 9 states in the US, and we're in 11 countries now, which is really, really inspiring. I never thought we would get to this point, and the fact that we're still growing is even crazier. And in the chapters, what it allows youth to do are promote neurodiversity whatever way they see fit, be it an event in your community center or building a sensory space in your local library. There are so many options. You can do workshops through Allied Training or through the curriculum, and we ultimately just want to empower youth to share neurodiversity however they see fit and however they think will really gather community and amplify voices. And for some future endeavors about YND, we're going to be going to the Stanford Neurodiversity Summit, September 19th through the 21st. Ultimately, we want to empower youth, amplify voices, and educate the world on strengths-based neurodiversity. So yeah, do you have any final questions?
I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.